This video has been brought to you by DataVinci Analytics Agency.
Hey guys, welcome back to DataVinci's YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to be learning attribution modeling in GA4, and this is going to be the part of the next video in the Marketing Attribution Series. So what are we going to cover today? First, we'll start off with some of the important definitions that you need to know to understand modeling and attribution modeling. Then we'll look at what is modeling in GA4 and some of the modeling techniques. And finally, shift our focus towards attribution modeling. And we'll also go over GA4, how we can use GA4 to do attribution modeling. So if you want to skip towards that, you can do so with the timestamps below. But wait, before we get started, let's start with our why. Why attribution modeling? So let's consider you have an e-commerce website and there is a particular customer who has a conversion journey as such. They come onto your website, they know your brand, and they complete the purchase. So there's nothing much to know out here. The credit would directly go to the direct channel, right? But what if the customer journey looks something like this? The customer searches for X product on Google and they find a website or they find an article that lists the top 10 places to buy X on which your website is listed. So from that website, they click on the link and land on your web page. And over there, maybe you're promoting some newsletter sign up and they eventually sign up for that. So after some weeks, you send out an email offer to the people who signed up for the newsletter. And if the person converts from that particular email offer, then we'll consider that as the final conversion. So as you can see, there are multiple touch points out here, right? Like there's a referral, there's a sign up on the newsletter, there's an email offer out here. So what credit would you give to each of these touch points? That's where attribution modeling will come in. So by the end of this video, you will have learned how to use GA4 better to understand your customers' conversion paths, identify those channels that drive the most conversions, and find potential issues in your campaign tracking of your GA4 property. So if you're ready to go, let's get started. Important definitions. First, touch point. What exactly is a touch point? Touch point is exposure to any of the marketing channels, and it's also sometimes called as an interaction or a touch interaction, and so on. So, for example, if a person comes through Google search, okay, that would be his or her first touch point. Their second touch point maybe could be a display ad, and their final touch point could be the email ad, the email click that they did through your email offers. So if this is a particular user's conversion path where they came through search, then a display ad, and then finally through an email, then this would be how the touch points would be lined up. Conversion. So what exactly is a conversion? Nothing too complex. It is basically the goal that you want your website or your app to achieve. If you want purchases, that is your conversion. If you want leads, that is your conversion. Next up, conversion credit. So conversion credit is basically the division of the amount of credit given to each touch point. So for example, this is the particular conversion path where you have organic search first, followed by organic video, and again organic search. So the conversion credit is indicated with the percentage, so 19, 43, and 38% respectively. We'll check this out. We'll check this report out in the GA4 demo. So stay tuned. Next, attribution issues. So if you cannot say with guarantee if a particular marketing activity, like whether it was successful in driving conversions or not, then you can say that you have attribution issues. For instance, if you run a campaign on Facebook and you spend around $5,000 within a week, but you do not know how much of that $5,000 converted into sales or any of the conversions that you're aiming for, then yes, you do have an attribution issue. Coming towards modeling in GA4. So Google uses modeling to estimate the online conversions that it directly cannot observe. This could be due to user privacy, technical limitations, or the cross-device behavior of users. There are different types of modeling techniques in GA4. Number one, behavioral modeling. This is when the user does not consent to cookies and GA4 uses cookie-less pings to estimate the user behavior. Conversion modeling. This estimates the impact of marketing when conversions cannot be directly attributed to the traffic source. And finally, attribution modeling. It is the determination of the credit of conversions across the touchpoints. So we'll be studying attribution modeling in GA4 today. So let's reiterate. What is attribution modeling? Attribution modeling is the process of understanding and assigning conversion credit to the marketing touchpoints on a conversion path with the aim of achieving the following objectives. Number one, to understand your customer's purchase journey. Number two, determine the most effective marketing channels for investment at a particular point. And finally, if you have attribution issues, find them and fix them. Okay, that's enough of theory. Let's jump into GA4 to get a better understanding of how we can do attribution modeling. Okay, coming to GA4, let's understand from the objectives that we placed for attribution modeling. Number one was to understand the customer's purchase journey. Second was to know what are your top marketing channels and how much is your return on investment on each of these channels. And finally, if you have any attribution issues, how can you find them and fix them? So those are the three objectives that we'll be solving in today's GA4 demo. So talking about the conversion path, you can come towards the conversion paths report in GA4. That would be under the advertising section, under the attribution and conversion path. So over here, this report is quite simple. There are only two sections, the section out here and the table below. On the top, you will have all your conversion events listed. You can deselect the events that you're not interested to have a better analysis. Maybe you're not interested in purchase for now. So let's just apply that. And by default, GA4 allows maximum of 20 touch points. So if you want the path length to be maybe lesser than that, maybe equal to 10 touch points or so, you can do that as well. But I'll just leave it to the default for now. You can also add some filters, such as a device category filter could be a good filter to be a good to start, maybe mobile or something like that. Or you can also use something like, let's check other filters that are available. So there are custom filters available for you, the custom dimensions that you created, the demographic filters such as the age and gender, the geographic filters like town, country, region, the landing page, the page path. So all these useful dimensions can be used as a filter out here to get better insights on a particular customer or particular group of customers, right? You can also change the date range to a meaningful date range. For now, I've set it to more than the default. The default is 28 days, but that's not enough data. So I've set it to a larger date range. Okay, so on this particular bar graph that you see, we have two drop downs. One is for the touch points or the channel group or the way that you want to visualize it. Do you want to visualize it as a source, as a medium, as a campaign, or just a channel group? Second, you can also choose the attribution model that you want to see. If you select the last click, then both this would be 0 and just 100% of the credit would obviously go to the last touch points. So that's not quite helpful in attribution modeling right now, since we are trying to understand how different channels contribute towards the conversion. If you're just running ads on Facebook and nowhere else, then maybe this particular last click model will help you. but let's just keep it as the default data driven, and let's start our analysis. So the early touch points tell us what gets the customer towards your website, or what is their initial touch point. So referral, organic social, organic search are the top three out here. Again, mid touch points tell you the mid section of the conversion path. The order remains same: referral, organic social, and organic search. And finally, the last touch points tell you the late touch points tell you the last touch points that occurred during the conversion path. Over here, we can see direct, paid search, organic search. The paid search does definitely have a lot of volume in the last section. That means it is telling us that paid search is good for closing in the sale, but it's not performing well in getting customers towards your website. So it's not performing well on the top of the funnel, but at the bottom of the funnel, it's doing well. So that's basically the bar graph on top. The data table below is somewhat similar to the bar graph above, and over here basically it lists all the conversion paths that are available on your GA4 property. So referral, 20 touch points, 258 conversions. Direct, not much to see out here. Paid search, just one paid search touch point, and there are 64 conversions for that. There are 2 referral touch points and 15 conversions for that. An interesting path is the one on the 7th position. There are 13 organic search touch points, followed by 1 organic video touch point, followed by 5 organic search touch points. Looks like 100% of the credit is given to organic search, whereas these 13 organic search touch points and this organic video touch point is 0 credit. That is what is shown out here. Let's take another path. So there are 2 conversion paid search touch points which have 27% of the credit, followed by a referral which has 73% of the credit, and there were 6 conversions from this particular path. So this is what exactly is the path, the conversion path telling you. It's helping you to find your customers' purchase journey, or your customers' journey towards a subscription, or any particular conversion that you're aiming for. So for example, let's say you want to use this conversion path report to understand your macro goals and your micro goals. So your macro goal is the bigger goal, the larger picture. Maybe it could be a purchase or it could be a lead, but the micro goals could be like add to cart or a begin checkout, or maybe even a view cart event, perhaps. So it depends. So you can have those conversions enabled through GA4. Just go to the admin section and go to the events and enable the conversions, and wait for some time for the conversion data to be collected. And over here you can select that particular conversion, maybe say add to cart. So what is the purchase, or what is the conversion path for an add to cart event? That is, if you want to know that, then you would be coming to this particular report. So that is all about this report, and there are some of the important metrics out here, such as the days to conversion, which basically is the number of days from when an interaction happened until a conversion. Second is the touch points to conversion, which is the number of interactions it takes the user to convert. So on average, it is taking almost 12 touch points to conversion, and the number of days between the conversion is 5 days. Okay, so that solves the first objective of understanding the user's purchase journey or the conversion journey. Okay, now let's talk about the second objective, wherein we want to find out the most effective channel group along with the return on investment. For that, you can navigate towards the All Channels report in the advertising section. Over here, we'll have a summary of all the channels plus the cost data. So if you have connected all of the Google Ads products and other Google products such as display and video and so on, All of the cost data from there can also be imported into GA4, and basically GA4 would become your central repository for your marketing platforms, and you can use GA4 as a tool of comparing all your campaigns at one place itself. You can also import cost data from Facebook, TikTok, and so on using the manual method or by creating a server that uploads cost data to Facebook, to GA4. We'll be creating a video about how you can do that, so stay tuned. So in this particular report, you have the typical GA4 format where you have the trend chart, a bar chart, and a table. Within the table, you have the conversions, the ad cost, the cost per conversion, the clicks, the cost per click, and the total revenue. And finally, the metric that we all want to know, the return on ad spend. So this particular report will tell you about all the channel groups and the conversions. So as you can see, on paid search, we've gotten around 753 conversions, and each conversion has costed around 2,300 rupees. We've received around 627 clicks, and each of these clicks has costed around 2,700 rupees. So that's how you can understand whether the number of conversions are increasing, but if the number of conversions are increasing at the cost of increase in ad spend, or are they increasing because of proper ad targeting, or because that your ads are performing well at a profitable level. So that was for this section. Talking about the issues in attribution. So how can you find that? So that is a very unpredictable area, I would say, because there are multiple reasons of why attribution may not be working in GA4. So one thing to keep in mind is that GA4 by default has its default channel group, and if your UTM parameters do not comply with the default channel group, you can create a custom channel group in GA4 and even make that as your primary channel group, so that everywhere in GA4 that particular custom channel group would be used. Other than that, you might have issues in the UTMs itself, like you're not adding the UTMs to your ads. So then it becomes a bit difficult for GA4 to identify, given that the click identifiers or anything like that is not appended to the landing page URL. So for instance, let's assume that you had launched a paid search campaign a couple of weeks ago, and that you're seeing an uplift in the traffic and an uplift in conversions. But the attribution for that conversions is going to organic search or maybe even direct. So what could be going wrong? One thing is that you could first of all compare the conversions that you're seeing in GA4 with the conversions that you're seeing in Google Ads. For instance, if you're seeing 20 conversions in Google Ads and just 1 or 2 conversions in GA4, you definitely have an attribution issue. Okay, so that was it for the attribution modeling in GA4. Now let's summarize our learning. So in this video, we've learned about the different modeling techniques that GA4 and Google offers, such as behavioral, conversion, and attribution modeling. And we've also learned why attribution modeling is required. So it is basically required to understand the conversion paths of your users and assign credit to the touch points. It's used to also find and fix attribution issues. Attribution modeling allows us to utilize our marketing funds better. That is, we are using data to make decisions of marketing, and hence it is called data-driven marketing. And finally, we can compare online campaign performance with different attribution models to get a better picture. And just a side note, attribution modeling is much more than Google Analytics. Attribution modeling in itself can be done out of Google Analytics itself, but If you want out-of-the-box properties, then GA4 is your go-to option for attribution modeling. So that was it for today's video. Thank you for sticking around, and may the force be with you.